What's up guys, JTails here with another video, and today I'm going to be covering breeding, IV training, passing down natures, just breeding Pokemon, everything that you need, all the items that you're going to need, and everything that goes into that. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the Destiny Knot and what it is, where to get it, how to get it, stuff like that. So if you notice on the town map, I am over in Hammerlock. I'm in the Pokemon Center. So in Hammerlock is where you can spend BP. BP is the currency that you gain from the battle tower or playing ranked matches online. So in order to unlock the battle tower, you have to beat the game first, then you can start climbing the tower and getting yourself some BP. After you get a little bit of BP, you can come over here and purchase a Destiny Knot. If you're breeding 2 Pokemon and one of them is holding the Destiny Knot, they will pass down 5 of their stats to the offspring. If we take a look at this dino, he has pretty good HP, decent attack, best defense, best special attack, best special defense, and pretty good speed, right? So what we can do is we can breed him with a Ditto, or we can breed him with a female dino that also has really good stats. And if we give one of these two the Destiny Knot, 5 out of these 12 stats, right, because it's 2 Pokemon, so 12 stats total are going to be transferred to the offspring. You have no control over which stats are passed down, but you can ensure that at least 5 of them will be passed down. So this kind of helps ensure that your offspring is going to have more good stats. It's going to take a few repetitions, but the Destiny Knot is an important item for breeding so that you are able to pass down these stats. So let's fly over to the battle tower so I can show you guys how to check your IVs, which is super important if you're going to get into breeding competitive Pokemon. So we walk into the battle tower, and basically all you have to do is win 6 battles in the battle tower, and you can see what rank you're in if you go over here. Say I want a battle. Please just select the battle and format, right? So all you have to do is win 6 battles in the single battle, at least that's what I did, and it unlocks the IV checker. So you can check the stats of your Pokemon. Also guys, by the way, I did this with a rental team from this guy. I used the water one. Barraskewda and Pelipper are really strong in this instance. So you might as well just take the rental team and win 6 games. It's not that hard. And then you unlock the IV checker. So in order to use the IV checker, go to Pokemon, go to your boxes, and then you go over a Pokemon and you press start. It's going to probably look like this, but then if you press start, it'll give you these stats, and if you press start again, it shows you how many IVs of each stat your Pokemon has. So you want as many to say best as possible. Obviously, if you have a special attacker, you don't need attack to be best. Or if you have like a slow Pokemon like Snorlax that benefits from Trick Room, or Toxapex, for example, one of the slowest Pokemon in the game, speed doesn't really matter, right? If your Pokemon's a physical attacker, then you don't need special attack to be best. You only need physical attack to be best. So it can save you some time with the breeding. So now I'm going to show you guys where to get at least 4 IV Ditto. And there's a little trick to guarantee that you can always get Ditto from this max raid battle. So let's go right into that. So I'm going to fly over to the nursery that's in the wild area. And I'm going to show you guys exactly where on the map to find this Ditto well. This well is specific to Ditto. So let me go ahead and show you guys that. So you get on your bike. We're over here by the daycare, right? And we're just going to come over here past this well. It's not this first one. It's going to be over here. This is the Ditto well. So in this well, there is Dittos. Most of the time, guaranteed pretty much, right? So what you're going to do is make sure you have something called a wishing piece that you can talk to one of the guys outside. Even the guy right next to the nursery, the dude that's standing there, you can talk to him, say spend watts, and you spend 3,000 to buy a wishing piece. So next what you do is make sure that your game speed is set to slow. This is important. And you want to get your hand near the home button on your Switch. If you're playing it handheld, I'm using a GameCube controller just because my capture card, so obviously I don't have a Pro controller and I can't play with the console itself. But so you just come over here and you are going to Doesn't seem to be anything in the well. Yes, throw a wishing piece. And would you like to save your adventure? So right here, all you're going to have to do is hit yes, and the light's going to shine from the den. It's either going to be purple and swirling or just plain red. So we're looking for a purple swirling light. And if it's not swirling and purple, I'm also going to save. Make sure you save your game before this happens, just so that you don't lose any progress once you reset. We're going to soft reset. So sometimes I forget to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look. And it's just red. So we're going to cancel and close the software. Then we're going to open it again. And we didn't waste our wishing piece. And once you see that it is purple, don't close the software. Just go into the raid, fight the Ditto. Ditto is pretty easy to beat. In my experience, if you use Eternatus, he cannot transform into Eternatus. So you can just demolish him, and if you've beaten the game, you should have that Pokemon. So this is a way to ensure that you get a 4 IV Ditto, which is super important for breeding Pokemon. So I would strongly recommend doing this first, then getting the IV checker from the battle tower, making sure you have a Destiny Knot, and then we're almost there, you guys. We're almost going to get into the breeding aspect of this video. So in order to help speed up your process, you need a Pokemon with the ability Flame Body. Flame Body causes eggs to hatch faster than normal. What happens when you breed 2 Pokemon, you'll receive an egg from the daycare and it goes into your party. That egg hatches after you take a certain number of steps. You can be on your bike, it doesn't matter, right? Running or on your bike. Bike is preferable because you cover more distance faster. So it's based on how much distance you travel. And if you have a Pokemon with Flame Body on your party while the eggs are in the other slots, they're going to hatch faster. It's like an incubator, right? So I'm going to show you guys where to get a Carkol very quickly so that you can speed up your egg hatching process. So you're going to look on your map and you're going to go to Galar Mines. I usually fly to Route 4 because it's like easiest to get in. So I go to the Galar Mines, the first one, and we fly over to Route 4. And then just get on your bike and go backwards. And you're going to run into the mines pretty easily. Now, there's going to be like a track, like train tracks, which is for the mine carts. Carkol is actually riding along these train tracks. So just go a little bit slow so you don't run into anybody. But Carkol should be just running along here. There we go. So you're going to run into him. There's 2 of them in the mine. So after you encounter both, then you can leave the mine and enter it again, and they'll respawn. They'll always respawn. I just use a quick ball every time, and usually it just catches them in one shot, right? So you can just buy quick balls, toss them over, and catch yourself some Carkols. Then go into the box or wherever they land and check its ability. Make sure it's Flame Body. If it's White Smoke or whatever the other ability is, then you're just going to have to catch another one until it is Flame Body. This is basically how you catch a Flame Body Pokemon. It's really straightforward, really easy. So that Carkol that we just caught did in fact have Flame Body, just to show you guys how easy it is to do this. So really straightforward. Let's move on to the next thing that you guys are going to need. Next, you're going to fly over to Sirchester, the Ice Town, and it's over on the right hand side. And you're going to look for a hotel. So this is the hotel in question, and you're just going to go upstairs in the elevator. Once you get off the elevator, you're going to just make a left, and you're going to go into the first room that you see. And you're going to fight this police officer. His Pokemon are pretty strong, 60 to 65 range, so make sure you're prepared for this. But it should be pretty straightforward if you've already beaten the game. And he gives you something called an Oval Charm, which I can show you guys in my bag. It's in the key items pocket. And you don't have to put this on a Pokemon or anything. All this does is it makes it faster for eggs to show up in the nursery. And that's also based on the number of steps that you take. When you leave 2 Pokemon at the nursery, they do their thing after, 200 steps or however long it is, right? But this Oval Charm makes it happen faster. So after X amount of steps, maybe it's 100, 200, you come back, there will be an egg. So this actually reduces the time in which an egg gets generated from the nursery. So would strongly recommend this item. It will make life so much easier for you guys in terms of just time. This whole process takes a lot of time in terms of breeding, hatching, checking the stats, then making sure that the stats are correct or what you want, what you need, and then reiterating, and it can be a long process, but this is the most easiest it's ever been in any Pokemon game, so we should technically be thankful for that. At this point, I should talk about IVs, what are IVs, and how to check them. IVs stand for individual values, and there are 6 different types: HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. And these range from 0 to 31 on a scale, so it can be any one of these values from 0 to 31. And your Pokemon are born with these IVs. You can do hyper training to change them, but if you're trying to just breed a good, like, natural Pokemon, they're born with these IVs and they're kind of fixed. So what you would do is find a Ditto, since Ditto can mate with everyone. Ideally, you want a 5 IV Ditto that has their IVs set to best on all of these, so that whoever you breed with, you can just pass down, right? So, like, let's say I have a Pokemon that doesn't have any best stats, right? Let's say I have this Glaceon that just has all pretty good, very good, decent, right? So if I breed with my 4 IV Ditto that has really good stats, which means just 4 perfect IVs, right? Whenever it says best, that signifies that it is a value of 31 and it is perfect. Meaning that when the Pokemon gets to level 100, it's going to have an added 31 points to whatever specific stat it corresponds to. If I breed my Ditto with my Glaceon, the offspring's probably going to have maybe 2 of these as best, right? So then I would take that offspring, leave that at the daycare with this Ditto. So now the offspring has 2 that are best and Ditto has 4 that are best. And then we breed those, maybe the offspring will have 3 that are best now. Then I would take that offspring, put it back in the nursery, and you want to have different stats too. So since it's taking the exact stat, that means that my Glaceon baby will never have a best special attack or speed, because none of the parents have a best special attack or speed. So then I would have to use a different Ditto that does have a best special attack and speed once the offspring has the other stats at best, and then breed those together so then they can fill in the gap, so to speak. So just as a mock example for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and breed a Rotom and just show you 1 or 2 iterations of how this works. So I'm going to go step by step in this process. You just talk to the lady. She's going to ask to see 2 Pokemon. So I'm pretty sure the Rotoms that I have don't have perfect IVs, right? So let's hit start. Decent, 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 pretty good, pretty good, very good, right? That's not a very good IV'd Pokemon. This one's a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave this Rotom with the lady. So we don't really care about attack, right? So it doesn't matter if our Ditto doesn't have the attack at best. Rotom is a special attacker, so we don't care about the attack stat at all. So all we need is 5 IVs to land on HP, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. So I'm going to take one of my Dittos that are pretty good. They all have attack on them, so it's kind of a wasted slot, but there's not much we can do about that. I need to find a Ditto that doesn't have perfect attack and that has a better other stat. So my Dittos are better geared towards physical attackers, which is fine. I almost forgot to put the Destiny Knot on Ditto. You do have to do it before you leave them with the lady. So I'm just going to leave the Rotom there right now and then go ahead and put a Destiny Knot on the Ditto that I plan on leaving. So leave Rotom with me. Let's go ahead and put the Destiny Knot on Ditto. So I'm probably going to leave this one. Another thing I should mention is nature, and I want to talk a little bit more about natures in a moment, because I just want to really drill home the IV point, but check your summary. So if we notice that this Pokemon has a relaxed nature, right? So if I really wanted to pass that nature down to my offspring, I would put an Everstone on the Ditto, and that would guarantee that the nature gets passed down. But if I like the nature on the Rotom, I would put the Everstone on the Rotom, and then Rotom's nature would get passed down to the offspring, and I would put the Destiny Knot on the other guy, on the other Mon that's going to be breeding, right? Nature is important because every nature has a pro and a con. It'll -1 stat and increase another stat. So once again, if I have a special attacker, I want a nature that is going to boost special attack and maybe lower physical attack because I don't need that, right? Sometimes you want natures that increase speed. Sometimes you want natures that increase special defense or physical defense and lower attack or special attack, depending on what type of Pokemon, what kind of attacker they are, special or physical. But I'm not going to really focus on nature right now. There are also mints in the game that you can apply to your Pokemon to change their nature. It changes the effect, but it does not change the physical nature. Like, if I applied one of the mints to Ditto, I can give him plus special attack and minus physical attack, right? But it's still going to say relaxed. So you get those from the battle tower. They cost 50 BP. So you're going to have to grind a little bit for those mints if you don't want to breed the natures down. But the game makes it pretty easy to do one or the other, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put the Destiny Knot on this Ditto and show you guys an iteration or two of breeding, just so that you guys can get the idea of how to do this. So I'm going to, oh, he already has the Destiny Knot on him, so we're going to put him in the daycare. Yep, this is the Ditto with the Destiny Knot. Cool. Pay about $1,000 for both. Now check this out, guys. It's going to be pretty quick. What I'm going to do is just get on the bike, and I'm just going to go down here very, very quickly. It's like less than a minute. I usually go past this tree, and I make a loop right around here, and then I go all the way back. And by the time we get back, she should have her arms crossed. When she has her arms crossed, it means that she has an egg for you. Okay, there they goes. Cool. So we saw the egg spawn. Pokemon's found holding an egg. Would you like to take it with you? Yes. You receive an egg. So I'm going to put it in my party along with the Carkol. So now I'm going to make sure that I have the Carkol with Flame Body on my party so that the egg can hatch a little bit faster. Now, it does not stack. So if I put both Carkols in my team, it's not going to make it hatch any faster. So that's the one, thing that might be nice, but it doesn't actually work. So just going to take everybody else off my party. So we have Carkol and the eggs. So now, check it out. So an egg just got on my party, right? And now we're going to just do the same loop that I always do. I always do this loop, and usually there's an egg close to the time that I get back. Well, our first egg is hatching, so it's going to hatch. You can't skip the animation, unfortunately. Really wish you could too. And we'll notice that special attack is now best. That's a lot better than the original Rotom that's the parent, right? So now we're going to put this Rotom to breed with Ditto as well. And the offspring should then have maybe 2 stats that are best, or 3 stats that are best, right? And that's kind of like how you do it, right? So this egg doesn't really matter that we're going to get from her. Maybe it passed down too, right? So I'm still going to hatch this egg. So now, since the offspring is better than the parent, I'm actually going to take out the parent. I'd like to take back my Pokemon and take the Rotom out. And I'm going to put the level 1 Rotom in. So then you go ahead and you put the Rotom that has the 1 best stat, best IV. And guys, this is going to be a tedious process. I'm just going to show you guys 1 or 2 reps so you guys get the idea. But it takes a long time. Okay, so this is the egg that we got from the no stat Rotom with the 4 IV Ditto, right? Let's take a quick look. And if it does have 2 best IVs, then I'll probably switch it. Yeah, it does. So this one has physical attack and speed. But since we don't need physical attack, we kind of don't want to breed this Rotom because we don't really care about physical attack very much. So it doesn't really help us out. It only has 1 IV that we need. The other one also only had 1. So they're kind of equivalent in that sense, right? I think you guys can see and understand how this could start snowballing, and you can start getting better IVs and keep putting the offsprings to breed with Ditto, and keep putting the, higher IV offsprings to breed with Ditto, and just keep hatching eggs until you get 4 or 5 eventually. It's just important to make sure that the biggest thing, you guys, is that you probably need 2 different types of Dittos. You need a Ditto that covers 4 good stats, and then you need a Ditto that covers the 2 that you're missing, plus another 2, right? because I can never, with a Ditto that only has 4 perfect IVs, you're missing out on 2. And the only way to cover those is with another Ditto or another Pokemon that you're trying to breed that has those IVs, those best IV stats. So this egg right here should probably have 2 or 3 IVs that are going to be useful to us. So what I do after I make an offspring that hits 2 or 3, then I replace the Ditto that I currently have and I put a different Ditto in to cover the missed stats that I didn't have before. And it's a very iterative process, it's a very repetitive process, but once you finally get that 5 IV that you're looking for, or the 4 IV that you're looking for, it's super rewarding. Then your Pokemon are ready to start getting EV trained. We get another egg. So if you found this helpful already, please give it a thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it, and consider subscribing to the channel if this helped you out for more competitive Pokemon content and tutorials. It would really mean the world to me. So we're very quickly just going to check this Rotom stats just to see and just to show you guys, and we'll probably call it good here. I'm going to probably be breeding this Rotom all night, so I'm going to be busy, but... So the one that just hatched, perfect, right? So this Rotom has best special attack and best speed. So now what I would do is I would set this one to breed with a Ditto that has HP, defense, and special defense. Something very quickly I just want to talk about is Bottlecaps. If you have an item called a Bottlecap, you can do something called hyper training, which is over in the battle tower as well. So this is just an example. Let's pretend that my Rotom has 4 perfect IVs. Speed, defense, special defense, and HP. Guess what I'm missing? I'm missing special attack. So I can come over to this guy here, and your Pokemon has to be level 100, but once they are level 100, you spend 1 bottle cap, and you can pick which stat needs to be maxed out for IV training, for IVs, right? So this doesn't affect breeding. I can't come to this guy and have him set my stats to max and then breed it over, because it's not genetic. It's learned after it was born, right? So you can't pass down hyper training stats. However, if there's just a pesky IV and you don't want to spend the time trying to grind for it, and you can't hit it, you can just come here, spend the bottle cap, has to be level 100, and you'll max out that IV, and then you're ready to start EV training or for competitive. So this is kind of like a shortcut that the game has if you don't want to waste time. And you get bottle caps either as prizes in the battle tower or by digging them up. If you have 500 watts, which is pretty easy to get, you just come over here and you talk to these guys and say, hey, I want you to dig up some treasure for me. And it's random, so you don't know what you're going to get. But if you do it a bunch of times, odds are you're going to get something good. They can also dig up Everstones for you as well. So hopefully I explained myself thoroughly and well. I know this can be a daunting and complicated topic, but if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to try and answer to the best of my ability. Also, those of you guys who are experienced, feel free to also leave comments if there's anything that I left out or missed and you want to help other people who might be watching this video. I would greatly appreciate it. I will be making a video on EV training as well as, move sets and analyzing certain Pokemon and competitive ladder stuff as well. So, as always guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.